There is no force on earth as powerful and transformative as political power. When all the machinations of the state and the country through political leadership are galvanized, it is an unmatched, unparalleled force of good and, God forbid, evil. Examples in history abound. The most infamous, of course, the Hitler regime, the Nazis, caused the death of not only 6 million Jews, but 60 million civilians across Europe, a country galvanized for death and destruction. But soon thereafter, there was the Truman Marshall Plan, the rebuilding of the European continent, an incredible act of good, almost unparalleled in the annals of human history. Power for good, a power for bad. I believe it is this dichotomy at the heart of political leadership which makes the mitzvah to appoint a king in this week's parasha, a political leader, so contradictory and full of so much ambivalence. You see, on the one hand, it's a mitzvah. The Rambam says, quoting Rabbi Yehuda, this is how the Rambam opens his Hilchot Melachim. It's a mitzvah, an ideal mitzvah, the first collective mitzvah of the Jewish people when they come into the land to appoint a king. But the Abarbanel quotes Rabbi Noharai, and the Abarbanel who worked with the kings of Spain and Portugal, who saw the challenges of and the misuse of power, who said it's actually not ideal, maybe even a necessary evil, something we would prefer to do without, but we can't help it, we need to have a king. And the truth is, I believe that is exactly why the mitzvah to appoint a king is presented in such a dichotomous way. On the one hand, it says, Som tasim alecha melech, as the Rambam said, appoint yourself for a king. It's an absolute command. On the other hand, it's presented with a condition. It's only if you ask for a king. And secondly, it's presented in a negative way. You should say that you want a king like the nations of the world. Why are we asking for a king in a conditional way like the nations of the world? Maybe a cheap copy of how leadership should be. We see there's a built-in dichotomy. And throughout Tanakh, negative and positive, we see the whole book of Shoftim, before we had kings, where there was disunity. The key pasuk there is, in those days there was no king. Bayamim hahem ein melech b'Yisrael, isha shaben avias. Everyone was doing what they wanted to. A king was necessary to unite the people. On the other hand, when a king was eventually asked for by the people, they wanted to copy the nations of the world, and Shmuel, Samuel the great prophet, was against it. Wherever we find kings, there is this ambivalence. And I believe it's because at the heart of power, there is so much concentrated power in the hand of political leaders that there is this ambivalence and these contradictions. It is for this reason I believe that our parasha is clear about the division of powers. Nobody has absolute power. The king has certain powers, Shoftim v'Shotrim, the courts have certain powers, the Navi has certain powers to question authority, and so does the Kohen Gadol in the precincts of the Mikdash. As we struggle in Israel today for the correct division of power, it is absolutely clear that neither the political leadership or the courts should have absolute power. The power belongs to the people, and the people have to find those mechanisms where the power is fairly and equally split, that ultimately the absolute power at the heart of a country and a state is divided in the correct way. And Bezrat Hashem, we hope and pray that this balance of power is achieved so that we can forge a transformative, positive society moving forward. Shabbat Shalom.